Hello guys, this is your friend Naruto Audio Fanfics and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto became an ancient vampire after saving Mikoto? Naruto times Mikoto times Kushina times Tsunade times Kurenai times Anko times Mei Terumi times Konan times Yugito times Samui times Mabui times Shizune times Hinata times Sakura times Ino times Tamari times Tenten times Karen, Massive Harem O Bashing, Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. We open up to Konohagakure no Sato on October 10th to find 8-year-old Naruto sneaking into the Uchiha compound to set up a prank. All the while he notices how quiet it is until he sees the reason why: corpses everywhere. He rushes to the clan head house to see if anyone has survived, as that is where the bodies are beginning to pile up. As he steps in, he sees Itachi aka Weasel Ni-san, one of the only Anbu aside from Neko Ne-chan aka Yugo, to care for him and show their identities to the boy, shove a Tanto into Fugaku, and about to do the same to Mikoto. Naruto jumped in the way of the blade. Itachi, seeing one of his Otuto about to be killed by his hand, tries to stop the blade. But it was too late, the blade found its target, i.e. Naruto's heart, and pierced it all the way through. Itachi, seeing this, releases the blade and tries to heal Naruto with what limited medical jutsu he knew, while Mikoto, seeing the child of her best friend taking a blade for her, breaks down in tears on her knees. Mother, we haven't much time. Even with the fox, he may not pull through, so I need to take him to the only doctor willing to help him. I need you to stay here and tell Sasuke everything that the Uchiha were doing, because after this I'm a missing nin. Do you understand? Itachi demanded. Mikoto, in shock, shook her head yes. Thus, Itachi fled from the compound to Dr. Genmari Hyudo at the Konoha hospital. Finally, with the kid dying, I can break out, the vixen thought with glee. Both Kurama and Haku are females. I don't think so, you insufferable rodent. You are not leaving my air that easily. A regal, powerful, and deep voice spoke. Who are you? I am no by many names, the Count, Vlad Tepes, Alucard, No Life King, the Devil, but the one I am most proud of is Dracula. No, it can't be. You're supposed to be dead. Foolish little rodent. While my body may no longer be a part of this realm, as long as my blood flows, I am immortal. And you have a new role to play apart from being prisoner now. As we speak, I am giving my heir all of my powers, my knowledge, and even merging personalities with him, so that he may be strong enough to rule this earth. As for you, you only have a few options: concubine, enslavement, or death. Make your choice. Now, Kurama was no fool, she knew that the vampire was more powerful than her and could deliver on his promise. Alright, you win, I'll be his concubine. Excellent. With Naruto. Hello. Is anybody in here? Naruto had awoken to a pitch-black void and was growing worried. Do not worry, child. Dracula said to him. You are not in any trouble or danger, but for the sake of time, I'm going to have to do an information dump straight into your mind. The vampire thrust his hand into the child's head to deliver all he had told to the fox, as well as help the child know who his parents were via blood magic, all the while healing the child from his wounds and malnutrition, and breaking all the numerous seals placed upon him, just a lot of memory and restriction seals. Whoa. Ow. Headache. Naruto said. Oops. Sorry. Dracula said sarcastically. It's fine. All I can say is, those fucking bastards and bitches are gonna pay. Okay. How are you going to do that though? I'm going to be the thing they labeled me as, a monster, and I am going to conquer and rule this world. Those that hate me will fear me, those that were indifferent will respect me, and those that are like me and cared for me will be treated as royalty. Wouldn't you try do to the same if you had been hated, beaten, abused, starved, and many other things and finally had the power to do so? Excellent, the vampire said in a malicious grin. And we can help with that, a harmonious voice said. Dracula, knowing of this too, said, Kami and Yami. Why would you want to help? I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just wondering. Because, Kami spoke, one of my powers is to see all possible futures, and the only ones that turns out well for humans is one where Naruto is ruler of this world. So, while I can't interfere much, I can remove his weakness to all holy weapons and grant him my blessing. As for me, Yami spoke in a raspy voice, I'll turn the kid power of demons including contracts with the power to merge Jinchuriki with their tailed beasts. Wow! Naruto exclaimed, alright. I'll take all the help I can get. Hospital. 1 week later. 7:30 p.m. We find Mikoto lying next to her savior, stabilized after 3 days of intensive medical aid and watch from the only doctor and nurses who weren't ignorant, dreaming, thinking, both about her new situation, and how to get out of it. With Itachi gone rogue, and Sasuke, despite being told the truth, turning to dark path and being spoiled by the village, she is being forced by both the civilian and shinobi council, to marry someone. Oddly enough, she has chosen Naruto as her new husband. With his lineage of being Uzumaki clan head, the connections said clan had to the daimyo, being the son of the Yondaime, and being the Senju heir since the Uzumaki and Senju clans were cousins and Tsunade was past the age of fertility, there would be no objection to their union on a nobility or political level. Not to mention, he would be Uchiha clan head instead of Sasuke through it. It also helped that he was cute and from what Itachi told her, a kind child that could and would grow to be a god among men if it wasn't for the villagers' ignorance. Plus, she owed it to both Kushina and Naruto for not being there for him. And there was that whole rumor behind chakra and size where things matter. Mikoto immediately woke herself up to find and then wipe away a nosebleed. Just then Hiruzen Sarutobi walked in. Now frankly, while he loved his village, he was sick of the idiots living in it to the point that if it wouldn't kill Naruto, he'd let the fox loose. Buildings can be rebuilt, the lives lost could be replaced, but the idea that founded the village would stay. Hello Mikoto. Any changes? None, I'm afraid. He's still sleeping. Suddenly, a flatline noise is heard, but Naruto wakes up. Gigi, we need to talk. The adults thought it was a genjutsu and tried to dispel it, but to no avail. Realizing this was real, okay, Naruto. What's wrong? I now know everything. Who my parents were, why I'm hated, and what I've become. I don't hate you for not telling me and I understand why you did it, but I'm disappointed for you lying to me saying you didn't know. Relieved, yet saddened Hiruzen said, I'm sorry Naruto, for the hell you've been through despite my intentions. I hope one day you may forgive me, but how did you find out, and what have you become? In reverse order. A vampire without any of the weaknesses due to my mother being a descendant of the most powerful vampire Dracula, and his wife Ingrid Van Helsing, A.N. Last Helsing reference, and my father being the descendant of the Belmont family, who were vampire hunters, A.N. Castlevania connection. And the fox who is now my concubine. As for how I know, as long as his blood flowed, Dracula remained immortal but decided to help me, and as such granted me his memories, knowledge, power, and even a bit of his personality. He also healed me and removed all the seals that your student Jiraiya and the councils have placed on me to hinder me and try to turn into a weapon. But, that's not possible, Jiraiya would never betray me. I don't know if he had much choice in the matter. All I know is that he did. We'd have to ask him. Naruto, Mikoto tried to talk. Yes, Mikoto, I know what you are going to ask. And I will marry you. Before either of you ask how I know, I'll just give you a rundown of my abilities. I have demonic contracts, control of death since Dracula once the master of the Grim Reaper aka the Shinigami's boss A.N. Last Castlevania connection. Demonic vampire physiology, blood sucking, flight, claws, telekinesis, teleportation, mind control, possession, power of dominance and supremacy A.N. See bio. Shapeshifting, immortality, necromancy, elemental manipulation, alchemy, holy and demonic magic, immunity to vampiric and demonic weaknesses, resurrection, intangibility, and with their blessing, I'm the avatar of both Kami and Yami, and both agreed that it's best for everyone if I follow through with Dracula's plan for world domination. I see, both adults said in shocked voices. Oh, and Gigi, barring Asuma, since he has on more than one occasion openly expressed his hatred for me, I wish to offer your clan a contract. In exchange for your clan's loyalty to me and mine, I offer a transformation that will allow you to turn into massive apes larger than the famed Gamabunta AN, don't own Dragon Ball. That has the ability to use ninjutsu without hand seals in addition to a long lifespan nearing immortality, the revival of your beloved wife and daughter, as well as turning the clock back on you to restore you to your prime, and the secret to defeating paperwork. After thinking it over for 0.2 nanoseconds, deal. Also, I'm granting you Sanin travel rights so that you can develop your powers away from the village, as well as work on your conquest of the world. Might I suggest speaking with the daimyo, as he will probably name you his heir, as he saw Kushina and Minato as siblings and cannot have children of his own. Yes, a wise idea. I'll leave now under the cover of night, and I will return in 3 years' time to graduate and be a ninja with the rest of the children my age. Until then, Gigi and my Yami Haim. Naruto then proceeded to kiss Mikoto on the lips, scraping her lips with his fangs to turn her into a vampire like him. I'll send the paperwork over to you in 2 days, my Haim. And with that he jumped out the wind into the night. Look out, world. Because Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto is back, and ready to turn this world into my playground. We open up to Konohagakure no Sato on October 10th to see Izumo and Tetsuo doing what they always do, guarding the gate. It has been 3.5 years since Naruto left the village, with Hiruzen telling the village that Naruto left to develop a bloodline he had discovered, which wasn't a total lie, but Mikoto still faced with council-based grievances despite her newfound marital status and Naruto's heritage being revealed. Sadly, while ignorance can be cured with information, stupidity can't. The guards were currently playing rock paper scissors to decide who was buying lunch. When suddenly a group in black cloaks approached. Halt. State your name and purpose of being here. Naruto and company here after to return to Konoha, solidify some alliances, as well as grant citizenship to a few. The guards did some checks and said, okay. Everything checks out. Just go straight to the tower. Alright, and with that the group in cloaks vanished into the shadows, which then sped toward the tower. One thing both guards knew was that things were about to get interesting. Even with my renewed youth and shadow clones, Naruto left him a telepathic message about that I still can't stand this paperwork. Monkey-kun, someone is here to see you. Bawako, it was 2 days after Naruto left that she came back, and she's always under a henge-based seal except in the clan home, told him over the intercom. Send them in. In walked the group. Hello, Gigi. It's been a while. Hiruzen smiled at that. It's good to see you too, Naruto. Tell me, what all has happened on your journey? A lot has happened. I mastered my powers, found a bunch of summoning contracts, some of which are going to clan heads I'm going to make alliances with. I met the daimyo and got named his heir, so I will soon own Konoha. I helped reinforce our alliance with Suna by helping its Jinchuriki, who is called Gaara, merge with his tailed beast, thereby letting the guy be able to sleep, cured his insanity, and got an arranged marriage with the Kazecage's daughter named Tamari, who is Gaara's sister. I helped Kiri by ending the civil war, and absorbing the Sanbi, and subsequently got engaged to the Godime Mizukage named Mei Terumi. I got a clan village alliance by saving the Nibi Jinchuriki, Yugito, from getting turned into a sex slave by the Kumo Council, which resulted in me turning both of Kumo's Jinchuriki into hybrids like Gaara, and I gained 4 wives in the process. Yugito, Samui, Karui, and Mabui. I then went to Aiwa and actually conquered it and made Onoki's granddaughter, Kuratsuchi, one of my betrothed and the Yondaime Tsuchikage, and I merged the Yonbi and Gobi Jinchurikiris with their beasts, Roshi and Han are their names. I also helped Takigakure by saving their hero water, gave them the beaver contract to help protect them, and gained an Imouto from their Jinchuriki, Fu, who holds the Nanabi, and made her a hybrid. I also removed several members of the Akatsuki from the base in AIM, removed. Not killed. Though that was an accident, and I'm also engaged to the new Amekage, who was a former member of said group. She was actually trained by Jiraiya and her name is Konan. As for the people behind me, you have Fu from Taki, the last of the Kagaya clan, Kimimaro, the Kyuubi, who is now one of my numerous lovers, Sasama of the Fuma clan who is another lover, and Shion, a priestess from the land of demons and yet another lover. To say the Hokage was stunned was an understatement. This boy had 4 of the 5 great shinobi villages in his pocket, more political power than a daimyo, more actual power than all the cages of the past and present combined, and his own harem. He just had a few questions though. Then why come back at all? Why not just outright annihilate the idiot villagers? Because, it's all part of my plan. The others I decided to strike hard and fast while this one I want to deliver a slow burn. Pull the rug out from under the council's feet and watch as they realize they can't do a thing. Now, can we get my friends and sister citizenship or not? Also, how is my Yami Haim? We can right now. Here you all go, but sadly Mikoto is getting harassed still. Once the papers were filled, Naruto said, I see. Well then, it appears we better head to meeting the council as having behind your back. How did? Right telepathy. Forgot. Let's go. So, Naruto and Hiruzen left while the rest left to explore. I say we execute the demon. I vote for banishment. This kind of stuff was going on when suddenly, boom. The doors to the council chamber opened up, and in walks the Hokage and Naruto. Alright you fools. Let's get this over with. First of all, it's illegal for the council to hold a meeting without the Hokage's order. Second, you all hold no power, your roles are advisory only and you are as replaceable as an old shoe. That goes for you as well, Danzo, Kaharu, and Homaru. The elders scowled. Next, is that Naruto is the daimyos, Senju, and Uzumaki heir, so any action taken against him will be seen as treason, and lastly his and Mikoto's marriage is validated by both mine and the daimyo's blessing. Several reactions were apparent. The shinobi and civilian council all looked like they had taken a massive crap in their pants and eaten a bucket of lemons. The clan heads though had different expressions. Shibi had a large smirk which was the same as laughing on the floor to him. Mikoto looked like she was in heaven seeing Naruto again. Sume eyed the boy with lust because he had an aura that screamed the ultimate alpha male. Shuza and Inoichi were laughing their asses off while Shikaku was wistfully grinning as anything else would be too troublesome. However, Hiashi looked upon with nothing but disdain. Also, Naruto interjected, I have more than enough power to wipe you all out. I also fall under the CRA and already have many wives. Now, a warning to you all. The child you all knew and treated as a punching bag is dead. I am something much more powerful than any of you could ever hope to imagine. So, if anyone wishes to try anything, keep in mind that I will retaliate with a vengeance, and after I have killed you, I will go after your friends, your family, and anything you hold precious and destroy it, slowly. As he was saying this, he walked to Mikoto. Now, if you'll excuse me, I owe my wife something long overdue. And with that they vanished in a puff of smoke. Well, Sume said, breaking the awkward silence, I don't know about the rest of you, but that made me cum. Resulting in face faults and nosebleeds. Cut to the Uchiha clan house and Naruto having a light make-out session with his wife, all the while holding a telepathic conversation. I missed you, my Yami Haim. I missed you too. So, who all do you have, and you are planning to bring into the harem? Well, you, Karui, Konan, Kurama, Kuratsuchi, Mabui, Mei, Samui, Sasama, Shion, Tamari, and Yugito, while sending the mental info. I'm planning to had Enko Mitarashi, Ayame Ichiraku, Hana and Sume Inazuka through another demonic clan contract, Hinata Hyuga through a contract, Ino Yamanaka through contract, Kurenai Yuhi, Tenten Higurashi, Yakumo Kurama, and Yugo Azuki. I do have an idea about this one girl mainly because she has a buried personality that happens to be infatuated with me while the current one hates me. I plan to either make it the dominant one or separate them. Her name is Sakura Haruno. Naruto told her about how he did a town-wide mind read when he first arrived. Wow. With that many women, one would assume you're amassing an army. She giggled as they both separated for air despite being undead. You're not wrong. Now tell me, how is Sasuke? A crazy spoiled brat that wants to kill Itachi and you. I see. Well then, I suppose I'll have to put the fear of the devil, or rather me, into him. Sadly, while I love this, I have leave and make some deals. But, don't fret, I shall return tonight. Okay. She agreed in a somewhat giddy fashion, yandere okay with a harem fashion. And with that he left. In just the span of a few hours Naruto was able to get an alliance with the Aburame by offering them both the beetle and mantis summoning contract, the latter of which gave a taijutsu style, a magical control of all insects, an insect-like body without any weaknesses, and oddly, Fu and Shino decided to start dating after that. The Inuzuka were easy as well, needing only on-command lycanthropy and the wolf summons to feel closer to their partners. The Ino-Shika Cho clan trios were a bit harder, but after appealing to the Nara's laziness by offering control over all shadows that would allow him to do the chores his wife wanted done without him moving, they all agreed. The Nara clan also gained ghostly powers including intangibility. The Akamichi turn into zombie-like creature sans the decay, lack of intelligence, and overwhelming desire for flesh, and also gained the ability to use electromagnetism on an instinctual level. Think Frankenstrike from Ben 10, which I don't own. As for the Yamanaka, they gained fluorokinesis, the telepathic powers Naruto had because the clan specialized in T&I, and became plant-human hybrids so that they could regenerate at an almost instantaneous rate. And Ino demanded her father to engage her to Naruto, which both men agreed, as he was a better choice than Sasuke. She read way too many vampire romance novels. The Kurama clan, while minor, was simple, especially since Yakumo was the last one. Naruto destroyed her demon, gave her the power of making her illusions a reality, and they became betrothed. The last clan, though, was almost impossible. Keyword almost. Naruto talked telepathically to the branch family and offered them freedom from the seal as well as the power of mummies, read Tep Kufans of Ben 10, in exchange for their loyalty. They agreed, and with haste Naruto killed off the clan elders via spears of lava up the ass and out their mouths and dragged Hiashi to the center and asked if he would free the clan and be a good father or not. His response was, "Never, you damnable monster. It was through the branch family's incompetence that I lost my brother, my youngest daughter that I lost my wife, and my eldest waste of a spawn that constantly mocked our traditions through her ineptitude, and reminded me of the only woman I've ever loved is gone. They all deserve to be at my feet worshipping me where they belong, as should you, you son of a red-headed whore." It was at that point he started foaming at the mouth and spouting gibberish that Naruto morphed his hand into an axe and quickly decapitated him. After consoling Hinata and Hanabi, Naruto freed the branch family. Neji then apologized to Hinata, who quickly forgave him. Hinata then forced Naruto a betrothal contract which he signed. When asked why though, Hinata said, "Because it was through you that my family came together after being apart for so long. You also saved me years ago from bullies. You were the one that tipped off my family about my kidnapping. In this story he did so on accident by throwing firecrackers into the master bedroom. And it's because you were the one who inspired me to grow strong. All of that made me realize that no matter what happens, I love you, and if I have to share you, then so be it." Realizing all that, Naruto just accepted, kissed her, and bade her good night. Well, this day has proven successful. I've got all the clans allied to me, I'm engaged to some new women, and the idiots are afraid. Everything worked out. Well, I better go. Apparently Kurama has a surprise for me. We open up to Konohagakure no Sato in the Uchiha clan head house in the master bedroom to see Naruto being used as a body pillow by the Uchiha and Inuzuka matriarchs and Inuzuka heiress. Naruto-sama. Wake up. It's time for breakfast. Morning. Kurama. Excuse me, Yami-hime, Sum-chan, Hana-chan, it's time to get up. Morning Naruto-koi, what's for breakfast? Mikoto asked. Pancakes, Mikoto-san. Now, while Kyuubi may hate most Uchiha, after last night she learned that Mikoto and Itachi are the only decent ones. They, Naruto and Kurama, also learned Sasuke now lived in his own penthouse paid for by the council, so Kurama didn't have to worry about being found. Sum then woke up groaning, damn pup. That was amazing. But still, even with my new powers I'm completely worn out. Do you all mind if I crash here for the rest of the day? No, the conscious trio told her. Okay. Yawn noise. Good night. Oh, and Naruto, do you think next time, we can bring some chains in when you do that thing with my ass? She's got 11 years of pent-up sexual frustration. Now, while most would get a nosebleed, Naruto, who had decades of knowledge in his head, as well as having a horny vixen traveling with him made him immune to such things and told her, we can, my Ukami-hime. Awesome. And with that, sleep reclaimed her. What's going on? Hana asked as she woke up. Nothing, Inu-hime. Just making a promise to your mother. She's gone back to sleep. Okay, so what else is going on? Not much, except we're about to have some of Kurama-chan's most exquisite pancakes. Alright, give me a few and I'll be there. Okay. Cut to the breakfast table. So, what's the plan for today, Naruto-sama? Kurama inquired. Well, let's see. Aside from seeing Gigi about the academy, nothing much. What about you, Inu-hime? Well, I'm going to see my friends for lunch. Anko Mitarashi, Kurenai Yuhi, and Yugo Uzuki, right? Yeah, and I'm thinking of asking them to join our happy group. Well then, when you do I've already got some gifts ready for each if you truly want this to happen. Oh, thank you Naruto-kun. You are the only decent male in this town. I just want them happy like I am. So what are the gifts? For Anko, the removal of her seal, at the expense of her becoming a Lamia, or snake woman, which would override Orochimaru and Manda's control over the snake summons. For Kurenai, she would become a succubus with the need to consume sperm but rather feed off of emotions, the ability of illusion affecting reality same as Yakumo who has also turned into a succubus, as well as them finding peace. And for Yugo, vampirism and 2 legendary swords, the reverse blade sword of the Himura Batosai and the Nuibari of Kiri, and sword styles, the Santoryu and the hidden Mitsurugi Ryu. Don't own Rurouni Kenshin or One Piece. Closing parenthesis. Wow, that alone will make you very popular with them, and your personality and stamina will definitely seal the deal. Suddenly, an Anbu with a bear mask appeared. Excuse me, Namikaze-sama. But, the Hokage wanted this delivered to you. It's a note to deliver to your new academy instructor, Iruka Yumino. Very well Tenzo, or rather Yamato, I'll be heading there in a moment. Oh, and as for being one of the only Anbu to help me as a child, I will grant you a gift. Snap of the fingers. There, now, you are like the Yamanaka clan, but less flower and more tree-based. Tell Gigi I said thank you. Thank you, Namikaze-sama. And with that he vanished. Mikoto the spoke up, Naruto-koi. Yes, Yami-hime, when you get there, pound that Fugaku spawn into the ground. While I may have birthed him, he is no son of mine, and takes after Fugaku way too much. I only have one son now, and that's Itachi. Very well, I was just planning on slightly showing him up so that I can make him frustrated. But with your request, I shall utterly humiliate him. Thank you, and for that, I'll go and ask Ayame of Ichiraku if she'll join the harem. Alright then. But, if she says no, then don't push it. She was one of the few who liked me before my transformation, and I don't want to push her or her old man away. Kurama, I want to stay here, and see to Sume and Mikoto's needs. Yes, master. And with that Naruto teleported to the academy. Academy. Cut Iruka using the big head jutsu, alright. Sit down and shut up you brats. That resulted in them quieting immediately. Now, we have a new student joining us today. Q moaning about unfairness and Iruka saying it was the Hokage's orders and that shut them up. Alright, you can come in now. The door slid open and in poured a blood red and black mist laced with killing intent. A.N. Don't own when you're evil. Cue violin music, when the devil is too busy and death's a bit too much. They call on me, by name you see, for my special touch. To the gentlemen, I'm misfortune. To the ladies, I'm surprise. But call me by any name, anyway, it's all the same. After flooding the room with the mist, it departed revealing Naruto wearing a peculiar outfit. A.N. Think Blade the Daywalker mixed with Alucard from Hellsing. Needless to say, most were scared shitless, literally, in Sasuke's case. The only ones who weren't were the clan heirs. Iruka then spoke, thanks for that startling introduction. Cough noise. Everyone, this is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Please take the empty seat in between Ino and Hinata. Alright. And with that began 6 months of boring lectures, annoying pranks, and typical school life. Also, I owe some explanations about how some mechanics work. First of all is the Jinchuriki mergers. The reason Kurama was the only one that's free is because she made the deal with Dracula, not Naruto. The reason the others merged together was because all but Shukaku, who got fused as punishment, asked for it so that they wouldn't risk being sealed again. This way the Biju and Jinchuriki are one in mind, body, and soul, with the Jinchuriki being the dominant mind. This, in turn, turned them into monsters, or rather Hanyus, such as Yugito being a Nekomata and Gaara being a Tanuki. Next are some of the monster hybrids of Maid, such as the Hyuga mummies, the Akamichi zombies, and the Aburame insectoids. For starters, the Hyuga were turned into mummies for a twofold reason. 1. The bandages would serve as a long-range way to deliver Jiyuken strikes. As for how that's possible, in my last chapter I said to think of the Tepkufans from Ben 10. What I meant was while the Hyugas are technically still alive but their bodies are now covered in bandages and they can do the unravel trick Tepkufans do. The second reason is Byakuzi, though Hinata in an Egyptian headdress was an adorable idea. As for the Akamichi, they are more heavily influenced by Transilians of Ben 10, rather than regular zombies. They're technically dead, and can only die via physical brain damage, but what keeps them alive is electricity and magic, not a virus. Plus, they can reattach their severed limbs from said magic, but they'll have stitch-like markings where the reconnection is. As for the Aburame, it's not that far of a stretch for their change, since they serve as a giant hive for their Kinkachu beetles. Each Aburame's insect half is random. For instance, Shino is half beetle like Fu, but his dad is half spider and his mom is half hornet. But, they're able to walk among humans without causing problems because they can recall their new forms at will. As for why Naruto hasn't revived anyone from his clan is because despite his mastery over death and his mastery over necromancy, is because to resurrect someone, he needs to make a deal with someone else, and while he doesn't have any vampiric or demonic weaknesses, he does have to follow the rules. Otherwise, he'd just be reanimating the corpses and they'd be nothing but dolls at this point. Also, anyone who has made a deal with the Shinigami, or has already been resurrected cannot come back. So, sorry folks, but no Minato, Hashirama, or Tobirama after the Hokage rooftop battle. Also, I've got a list now of what monsters all of the harem members will be or are, as well as a few others. As for why not turn everyone into vampires, it adds variety. Harem, Amaru, Fairy, Enko, Lamia, Ayame, Vampire, Fubuki, Wendigo, Fuka, Succubus, Gurren, Gargoyle, Hana, Werewolf, Haku, Yukiona, Hinata, Mummy, Ino, Plantoid, Isaribi, Gilman, creature from the Black Lagoon. Kagaya, as is, Karen, vampire, Karui, harpy, Kin, siren, Conan, Valkyrie, Koyuki, Yuki-onna, Kurama, Kitsune, Kuranai, succubus, Kuratsuchi, golem, Mabui, Raiju, lightning weasel, Mei, mermaid, Mikoto, vampire, Sakura, banshee, Samui, Raiju, Sasama, vampire, Shion, oracle, Shizuka, Amazon, Shizune, fairy, Tayuya, siren, Tamari, sylph, wind elemental, Tenten, Cyclops, the forgers about human height, not the cannibalistic giants, Sum, werewolf, Tsunade, Titania, fairy queen, Tsunami, vampire, Yakumo, succubus, Yugito, Nekomata, Yugo, vampire. Gaian Li, Hercules, a species of men who have god-like strength. Also bashing list. Kakashi, Sasuke, Danzo, Homaru, Kaharu, Asuma, and Orochimaru. Also, changing Team Aiza Sensei to Yugo so Kuranai re-apprentice Yakumo. 6 months later, we open up to Naruto sitting at his usual spot at the academy with a massive smirk on face with Hinata, Shino, and Kiba sitting in the row above him, Shikamaru, Choji, and Yakumo, who was able to attend after her deal with Naruto, in the row below him, and finally Ino and Sakura had their arms wrapped around him. As for how that happened, well, it's quite a story. Author style. Flashback no jutsu. It was 3 months earlier and Naruto was walking home with his new friends and fiancés when suddenly. Naruto Baka. Yes, Haruno. What is it? How dare you show up Sasuke-kun again? You know what, Sakura? I'm done with this. For 3 months now, I've had to put up with your fangirlish ways, and I'm sick of it. Do you know why I keep beating the ever-loving snot out of him? Because his mom, one of my wives, asked me to for being a prick. He called his own mother a whore when she wished him a happy birthday. Now ask yourself these questions. Is that the kind of man you want to be in a relationship with? What attracts you to him besides his family name? And above all, do you seek him out because you were told to? And before you shoot your mouth off about me being a pervert for being with his mom and multiple women, bear these facts in mind. 1. I fall under the Konoha CRA, just as he does. 2. Any women involved are with me by their choice, and love me for me, not my status. 3. Despite him being the son of the Uchiha clan head, he will not achieve that status due to Yami Haim removing him from heir position as she is the clan head. And finally, despite the fact that he has multiple women of varying ages, both civilian and ninja, thrown at him, he has not reciprocated any of their feelings. So, that means only 2 possible things: either he is a eunuch or he's gay. She couldn't say anything after that as she processed the whole thing. But, suddenly a painful feeling erupted from her head, and she started screaming. Naruto, realizing this was the work of a seal, immediately rushed to her and started examining her and found a well-hidden genjutsu placed on her forehead. He broke it and found a very intricate seal placed on her that forced her true personality to be buried, while she had a second personality in public and caused her intense pain when trying to go against the seal. However, thanks to his training, Naruto broke the seal in a matter of seconds, but it forced Sakura to pass out. Everyone, go home. The less people there are here, the better. Plausible deniability and all that. So, with great reluctance, they all left. 5 minutes later. Where am I? Sakura moaned out, finding she was sitting at a tree. Glad to see to awake. Truly awake. Naruto spoke while sitting next to her. Nah, Naruto-kun, she asked, unaware of the suffix. Yep, it's me. Glad to see the real you. Oh, Naruto-kun. She then jumped on him, smothering him with kisses while saying in between, thank you so much for freeing me from that fangirl. Alright, you're welcome, but how did you get that seal? She then got off him and remembered with a frown. It was right after you saved me from those bullies for making fun of my forehead. When we went our own ways, I ran home, excited to tell my mom and dad all about my new friend. But, when I told them what happened, they were relieved until I told them it was you who saved me. They then proceed to beat me with belts, their fists, and even a frying pan. She then started to cry. That, of course, knocked me out. When I came to, I was in the basement tied down to a table with my parents hovering over me talking to a really tall white-haired man. They kept calling Jiraiya, demanding he put seals on me. When he asked why, they said it was to make me an obedient little girl again. So he did, but I could see a look of regret in his eyes. You don't have to continue anymore. I can piece together what happened next. Thank you. But, can I ask you some things? Sure. What? Why? Why did they do this? To be truthful, I haven't a clue. I mean, as far as I know, most hate me because I remind them of Kurama, but your parents didn't suffer any losses from her attack. Therefore, they have no reason to hate me, but I'll find out. Wait, I want to come with you. Why? I have to find out for myself. Call it peace of mind. Please, Kun. She asked while giving the puppy eyes no jutsu, crying variation. Alright, but it's going to be bloody. I don't care. I want the truth by any means necessary. 2 hours later. Well, it wasn't as bad as the kids thought. It was worse. Much worse. It seems the mother, Mebuki, had wanted to make Minato her obedient husband when they were kids in the academy so she could have access to the Namikaze account. While Sakura's father, Kazashi, had wanted to make Kushina his own personal whore and cock sleeve so he could use the Uzumaki clan account and power. However, reality had other plans, so the two, who would remain as only Chunin for their entire ninja careers until they quit to gain power from the civilian council, decided to lick their wounds and stay together. When they found out Mebuki was pregnant and it was a girl, they were so relieved. Finally, a way to gain the power and money they thought they deserved. But, when their little girl showed an interest in the Jinchuriki, they lost their shit. They wanted power, yes, but not at the cost of their daughter breeding with scum in human flesh. They knew who he was and who his parents were, and while they at first tried to adopt him, Hiruzen saw through them like a window and denied them. So, they then decided to make the boy's life a living hell, and even forced Jiraiya to place the seals on Sakura by blackmail via grave desecration of his only student. And, with the Uchiha clan being reduced so that Sasuke was pronounced as the clan heir at the time, they knew who to whore their mind-controlled daughter out to. So with that all aired out and with Sakura's blessing, they both died in a horrible and gruesome fashion. Warning. Gory scene ahead. If you are uncomfortable with this, you have been warned. Mebuki was impaled in the ass and up and out of her mouth via shadow spike which then grew more spikes out of the sides making her a cross between a scarecrow and a porcupine. As for Kazashi, his entire scrotal region was ripped off, for reference, think Sin City, but his dick came along with his nutsack, and was repeated violated by this group of incubus demons Naruto called until the man bled out and died, even having his own former appendage in his ass. End of gore. And so, while justice was being delivered to the two, Naruto was comforting Sakura who crying a river. Naruto-kun, is there any way you can make the pain go away? I've heard rumors you have powers that make people turn into something else. I want that, I want it so much. If those two are what it means to be human, I'd rather be a monster. Okay Sakura-chan, let us make a contract. I will turn you into a monster. One that suits you in every possible way. But, know this, all power comes at a price. What will you give in return? I give, she had to think. What did she have to give to him? He was wealthy, powerful, well-connected. What could she, a weak girl, give to him? And then it hit her, like a bolt of lightning. I give you myself. To me, you are a kami on earth. I fell in love with you when you saved me and complimented me where everyone else tormented me. So I offer you my everything that I am and everything I will be. I surrender to your will, for you are the one chosen by God to save this world. I love you to war even if you have other women in your life, I wouldn't care. Then rise, and be reborn as my herald. As my banshee. And with those words spoken, a change washed over Sakura. Her skin turned pale while her hair was now jet black and her chest expanded from washboard to D-cup. It's done, Sakura. You are now a banshee. An undead monster with a wail that can be weaponized and was taken as a prophetic sign of death. Fortunately, like Hinata Haim, your body will still develop until you're 18. Thank you, Naruto-sama. From now on, I shall spread the word of your glory. Maybe hold off on the Messiah complex till we graduate. Draws less attention. Very well, Naruto-kun. Flashback no Jutsu. Kai. After that, Sakura just became one of the group in Naruto's harem. Though the religious thing was there, only those in the fold knew the truth. Everyone else just thought the last of the Harunos was just expressing her grief by creating a new religion. After all, she was carrying a thick book, the group knows she calls it her Bible of Naruto. Wearing a strange all-black dress that wasn't a kimono, think of a cross between a nun outfit and a bridal veil over the face with the skirt part is right below the knees yet free enough to not sacrifice mobility. And muttering to herself saying the sinners shall be punished, while the blessed reap the bounty of God. Anyhow, while they were all in the classroom, Naruto was remembering how he got the last 3 of Konoha's ice queens to join his harem. Yugo was bought when Hana just brought up the idea, as Yugo had a secret little brother complex that Naruto brought out when she was guarding him. The powers and weapons were just icing on the cake. Anko and Kurenai were a little harder to convince, so the 3 met up in a separate meeting each. Anko was met in the Forest of Death while Kurenai was met on top of the Hokage monument. Flashback no Jutsu. So Gaki, Anko said, you want us to join your harem. Hana said you have something that'll make me join almost instantly. What is it? For starters, I can turn you into a Lamia. A half-snake half-human monster that can inject any poison or venom into a person with either your teeth or nails and spit said venom. This would also make you have more power over both regular and summoning snakes than either Orochimaru and Manda. To them, your word would be law. Also, with this arrangement, your curse seal would be removed. Anko had 3 emotions going through her in the span of an instant. Shock at what he just said, anger at the thought he's lying, and finally relief when she looked into his eyes and saw he was serious. Gaki. No. Naruto-kun, please take this damn seal off me, and I'm yours. If you want to whore me out to some knuckle-dragging drunks in a bar for a single Ryo, I'll do it. If you want me as nothing more than your own personal baby-making cock sleeve, I'll do it. If you want to rip out me uterus from my vagina, I'll accept it with a smile. Just please, get this Kami Forsaken seal off of me. I don't want any on that. Well, maybe the baby maker, but that's at a later date. All I want is to make Inuheim happy by making you happy. So, show me your curse mark. Because I'm going to erase it by marking you with my own, thereby turning you into a Lamia. And so she did, and so it was done. And now, every morning, when they are both at home, Anko shows her appreciation to her newfound paradise by giving him a snake tongue blowjob in his morning wood while wearing a harem dancer outfit in the house. Kurenai was harder to convince. Okay, Gaki. Hana said you wanted me join your harem, and that you had some gifts to give if we did. There was a miscommunication on that. I may have desired that, but I wouldn't resort to bribery. Though, I should tell you, the man you are seeing, Asuma of the Sarutobi clan, is not who he appears to be. He was one of my many, and more frequent, attackers. Being the son of a Hokage can have its perks. Also, he has been seen fraternizing with many a whore of the red light district. Here, I have the evidence to prove it. Try as she might, she couldn't deny the betrayal she felt. And so, with a heavy heart, she realized, the words of the vampire in front of her, as well as her friends seeing how happy they've become after his interference, were true. Alright, I'll join you, Naruto-kun. Great. You won't regret it. As for what monster, you'll be my second ever succubus. However, instead of needing to consume sperm, you'll be feeding of others' emotions. Also, like my first one, you'll be able to make illusions that can affect reality. As for who the other one is, it's your former student Yakumo, who wants to reconcile with you, and has her demon destroyed, so no need to fear her. Naruto-kun, thank you. And with that she pulled him into a soul-searing kiss, crying tears of joy as she grew her horns, wings, and tail. All in all, it all worked out. Flashback no jutsu. Kai. Overall, Naruto was having a good day. Iruka then poked his head in and said, Naruto. It's your turn. Hi. I'll be right there. It's showtime, was the thought of the group as Naruto left. Classroom. Okay. Naruto do the henge, kawarimi, and bunshin no jutsu, and you pass. Okay. Iruka-sensei. He then did a perfect henge into the sandame in his prime, but what no one outside of those in the know of his secret is that Naruto is a shapeshifter and he just used his chakra to make smoke. As for the kawarimi, Naruto threw a balloon filled with hot sauce made of Carolina Reapers, don't think. Just accept. And swapped with Mizuki. As Mizuki was screaming and fleeing to go to the hospital, Iruka said, Naruto, was that necessary? Wouldn't be me if I didn't make assholes miserable. Fair enough. Do the bunshin. Alright. Kage bunshin no jutsu. Alright. You've passed. Any extra credit jutsu? Sure. Ninpu. Sansei Kai Dan no jutsu. Ninja art. Acid blood bullet jutsu. Naruto then spit a ball of blood at the wall, which then melted the wall. Good job, Naruto. And with the originality, I can safely say you're the rookie of the year. Thanks, sensei. At the Hokage Tower. All right. Any special requests? Hiruzen asked. After the unimportant sensei made their requests, Kurenai spoke first. Yuhi Kurenai request an apprenticeship with Kurama Yakumo. My reason is that with me gaining real-world experience, I'm more ready to train her. Very well. Accepted. Yo, Pops, the chain smoker, for the record I liked him the original series, but I hate smokers, I'll take the next gen Inoshika Cho trio. With me, they can make new strategies. Alright Asuma, Hiruzen said to avoid any headaches even if the excuse was flimsy. Azuki Yugo, request Inazuka Kiba, Aburame Shino, and Hyuga Hinata for a tracker team, and with my Anbu background, they'll be better prepared should they be intercepted and not be like other tracker teams and die. Very well Yugo. You shall have your team. What about you Kakashi? The Cyclops then looked up and then said, I guess Uchiha Sasuke, since I'm the only other person in the village who has a Sharingan, forgetting Mikoto, also, Sakura Haruno, since she is a Sasuke fangirl, and Uzumaki Naruto. I sense those two would make good rivals, but Sasuke would have to be better for the whole team to work. Now, everyone could tell Kakashi was blatantly showing favoritism, which is a huge no-no for Junin senseis. We'll see Kakashi. Hiruzen already shot the idea of Naruto being on the team, and while he couldn't take Danzo down, he could manipulate him enough to spare his progeny Sai, to take Naruto's place. Mitarashi Anko, request an apprenticeship with Uzumaki Naruto. Due to us having similar personalities, I know I can teach him better because I can connect to him. Very well, Anko. And, Kakashi, before you say anything, I've already have someone else to take his place. Alright. Kakashi knew it was pointless to argue despite his plans to make Sasuke op as possible while making Naruto weak as shit in a long-term convoluted plan to kill Kyuubi AMD avenge his sensei. He's an arrogant asshole that doesn't know what all happened. Alright dismissed, yelled Hiruzen. Hi. Uchiha house. Nighttime. We cut Naruto in a massive bed with all the girls in bed after a raunchy 6 hours of sex. Naruto then got a psychic message from Hiruzen saying Mizuki took the forbidden scroll. Naruto then used the shadows to teleport to Mizuki, with Mizuki giving his canon speech and Naruto acting stupid just to screw with him. When the rant was over, Naruto said, You finished. Okay. Time to die. and then used his dark magic to make a torture device similar to those pulling tables in medieval times but with buzzsaw blades on the table part, which then proceeded to rip the traitor apart. You can come out, no Iruka. I'm not going to harm you. Naruto, what are you? A vampire blessed by both Kami and Yami to rule this world. Naruto then proceeded to explain his story and how he knew he could trust Iruka, and by the end all Iruka could say was, "Oh. Okay. I won't betray your trust. But, we better get back. You've got team placements tomorrow and the scroll needs to be returned." Alright. And with that, the two left. It's been 6 weeks since the team assignments, and while most were taught well, Kakashi had proven time and again his incompetency. It got so bad that Sakura often went to Anko for extra training without Kakashi knowing. Asuma, while a lazy, sexist bigot, did prove he earned his rank and showed his team tactics that when implemented with their new skills made the Inoshika Cho team an unstoppable capture team. Kurenai and Yakumo were now as close as siblings, and together could make illusions strong enough to disable a whole army or even kill, and that's without the fact they can affect reality. Yugo showed her squad many new techniques that when implemented with their new powers could allow Kiba to crush and cut a boulder in one jutsu, Shino to cut a 50-foot in diameter tree with one swing, and Hinata to create to bandage-based techniques. As for Anko and Naruto, when they weren't in a makeout session, Naruto was learning new ways to hurt a person, including a way to deliver venom and poisons from a microscopic needle made of shadows. "Why are we here, Gigi?" Naruto asked, bored out of his mind in the Hokage office with Anko, Kurenai, Kurama around Naruto's neck, and Yakumo. "You 5 are here because you and Team Guy are going to wave on as overriding command from Team 7. Anko then spoke. "What happened?" The Sandaime then said, "It was just a simple C-rank mission, but thanks to both Sakura and Sai sending messages, we found out that they've run into the Demon Brothers of Mist and their boss, Momochi Zabuza, the Demon of the Bloody Mist. Normally, I'd just send you 5, but there was a fake masked hunter Nin. There's more, isn't there, Gigi?" Naruto said as a question, but the tone made it a statement, as everyone in the room knew just sending Naruto would be overkill. "Yes, due to the information, this is also an assassination mission." That grabbed their attention. Kurenai asked, "Who's the target?" "It's a millionaire known as Gato. Apparently, while he has a few legal practices, most of his money is made illegally. Smuggling, extortion, drugs, and slavery are how he drains a country dry. This bridge would be detrimental to his empire." Yakumo then asked, "Then why not blow it up?" Naruto spoke up and answered, 2 reasons. 1. Doing so would attract attention of the unwanted variety. It'd be easier to kill the bridge builder and do it off the records, than risk property damage. The second is because guys like him are sick fucks that enjoying causing pain to innocent people. As for the Team Guy thing, I assume you want me to recruit them to our cause. Yes, Naruto. Okay. When do we leave? Immediately. They're already at the gate. And with that they left. 2 days later, we see the teams approaching the house. The night before, Naruto told them everything about his life, what happened to them, and how he wanted Guy, Lee, and Tenten to join in the plan. After getting kicked in the nuts by Anko before Guy and Lee did the dreaded hugging sunset genjutsu, they agreed and became the first 2 Hercules, while Tenten became a Cyclops. Though, what surprised everyone was when Tenten then kissed Naruto. When asked why, it turned out Naruto and her were old friends at the orphanage, before she got adopted by the Higurashi family a year before his journey. She had a crush on him when she left, and it just grew until the transformation made the feelings explode. "So, how are we going in?" the group asked Naruto, since he had literally over a millennia of knowledge in his head. He then held a telepathic conversation so as to include Sakura. "Our best bet is to go in like normal. Since Guy, Lee, and Tenten aren't used to their abilities, they along with Neji will stay around the house as much as possible with the cover story that since Gato most likely would target the client's home, it'd be best to have those 4 who have the best teamwork to act as a trap. Meanwhile, Sakura will keep on an eye on the 3 Stooges." She replied, "As you wish, my lord." He then continued, "Since Kurenai is the most level-headed, she will commandeer control of this mission, and if Kakashi argues, she'll put him under a genjutsu that'll knock him out. Meanwhile, Anko and I will be in charge of the assassination of Gato." Seeing no real problems with the strategy, they agreed and proceeded. Time skip, 2 days later. Needless to say, Sasuke and Kakashi were pissed, but before they could protest, Kurenai put them in a genjutsu so disturbing they surprisingly kept quiet the rest of the time there. A.N. Naked Orochimaru, Guy, and Lee in the Sunset Illusion. Enough said. Kurenai then took over the training of Squad 7 so Kakashi could focus on recovery. However, she almost put him in the illusion again due to his negligence. Turns out they hadn't even done tree walking yet. Meanwhile, Naruto and Anko were busy planning to break into Gato's lair. While that was going on, Naruto had thousands of shadow clones to help Tazuna build the bridge. At this rate, it would be done by the end of next week. That night, insert Inari spiel. Needless to say, it got harder for everyone to breathe due to Naruto's massive killing intent. "You say I don't know what it means to suffer. Look into my eyes, brat. You shall know true pain." However, Tsunami jumped in front of Inari, taking the brunt of the attack. Fortunately, Naruto managed to stop before Tsunami saw too much. Unfortunately, she saw enough to where she was reduced to a sobbing mess. For the first time in a long time, Naruto felt guilt, and as such fled into the forest. 2 hours later, we cut to Tsunami's bedroom with Kurenai comforting her. Tsunami then asked through tears, How could he go through all that and still be sane? With little option because words wouldn't suffice, Kurenai showed Tsunami everything, including how Naruto and her are monsters. She then said, "That's how. It is only through the love we all have that Naruto doesn't go over the edge and slaughter everything in Sai." It took Tsunami a few minutes before she spoke and said, "Then let me join. Make no mistake, I'm not saying this out of pity, or doing this lightly, but because I've fallen for Naruto. His courage in the face of danger, his ferocity against those opposing him, and his love and compassion for those near him, they all just reach me in my heart." Kurenai then smiled, "I'll see to it he hears this and it'll happen before we leave. Now, we both need rest. Good night." "Yes, Kurenai-san, good night." Kurenai then spoke to Kyuubi, who was on Naruto's neck when he left. "Did you get all that?" "Yes, I did. Don't worry, I'll tell him in the morning. He's fine both physically and mentally. He just collapsed from exhaustion after destroying the forest event." "Okay then, good night." Kurenai stopped the communication and thus went to bed. With Kurama and Naruto, we see Kurama in fox form sitting on Naruto's chest. She thought, poor master. Despite sacrificing his human form, he still holds on to his humanity. Still, that's what makes him lovable in the first place. "Well, we have a lot to do tomorrow, so I better get to sleep." And with that she give him a dog, or in this case, fox kiss, circled on his chest, laid down, yawned, and fell asleep.